What happens when you build an AI software? Magcha-charge ka monthly for people to use it, and then a company like Google releases almost the same capability for free. Hindi siya discounted, hindi siya bundled into another expensive subscription, libre siya, fully free. And this is the problem here. Ito yung case, okay? It can perform its primary AI processing locally on the user's device kasi yun yung biggest risk na na-overlook ng mga tao. Okay, when they say, uh, just build an AI SaaS, okay? Because the feature you are selling today could become free from Google, Microsoft. Yun yung kaya nagiging risk yun. Kasi nagbi-build ka nga ng AI SaaS tapos, yung mga tech giants bigla nilang gagawing libre yun. Gagawa sila ng sarili nilang ano, SaaS, and then it will be free for everyone to use as long as you are hosting it locally. But this does not mean that there's no opportunity for smaller businesses. It means we may need to consider where the real value is. Instead of building software as a service, I think there are two other models na kailangan nating maintindihan. Okay, una is, 'di ba, alam na natin yung ano, software as a service, yung SaaS. But the two other model is called software in a service and service in a software. Let me explain. So SaaS means alam na natin, 'di ba? Software as a service. So yung software mismo yung magde-deliver ng service mo. Okay, you build a product, yung customer gagawa ng account, they pay monthly or annually to continue using it, and the software itself is the main product, 'di ba? You might create an AI writing tool, a CRM, a scheduling platform, an image generator, an invoicing application, or an AI powered dictation tool like Whisperflow, Glido, or whatever that is. The customer is not primarily paying for your consultation, personal guidance, or direct implementation. They are paying for access sa tool and sa features ng tool. This model has created many successful companies, of course, right? So I'm not saying na SaaS is dead. Okay. I'm also not saying that nobody should build SaaS anymore. Okay. But I do think generic featured based AI SaaS products are becoming increasingly vulnerable. Especially pag yung main thing na binibenta mo is a capability that a much larger technology or tech company can reproduce. Okay? So let's use AI dictation SaaS as a primary example, yung Whisperflow, right? So if you guys are not familiar with Whisperflow lets you speak instead of typing. You activate the application, magsasalita ka naturally, and it turns your speech into clean, usable text. Okay. It can apply punctuation, remove filler words, format and transcription, and let you dictate inside different applications. For example, I might say, "Hey, please tell the client that I reviewed the proposal," and yung mga ganon, di ba? May mga filler words ka, and then lilinisin ni Whisperflow yun. So instead of giving me that exact messy transcription, an AI dictation tool can produce something cleaner. Kailangan yata ng Whisperflow tong video na 'to. Like, please tell the client I removed the proposal. I recommend moving the meeting to Friday because I still need to make several changes. Okay, very useful yun. It removes the friction of typing, it helps people communicate faster, and it turns disorganized spoken thoughts into readable text. Another product in this category, same na category pa rin, but it's a different product. It's called Glido. Okay? Glido is the same. Glido yes lets users dictate. Same pa rin. You speak naturally, the tool removes filler words, it fixes grammars and pronunciations, and it produces text that is closer to something you can immediately send. So both yon yung Whisperflow and Glido have free entry level access, but they also offer paid subscription for additional or unlimited usage. This ito ano to classic SaaS model. The company builds a dictation product, people subscribe and use it, and the AI powered feature itself is packaged as the product. Now, Google has released Google AI Edge Eloquent. So yung Eloquent, it operates the exact same way. Okay? You speak naturally, the application transcribe, same way lang talaga. Okay? But the advantage here is the application itself is offline. It can be run locally and it is private. Okay? The application can maintain an editable dictionary based on your vocabulary, helping it better understand the words and terms you frequently use. Okay? And the most important difference is how the product is being positioned. Okay? So the primary AI processing happens locally sa device mo. It can work offline. That creates a privacy advantage kasi yung core workflow does not require every recording to be continuously sent to a remote AI server. And Google currently offers, so ino-offer to ng Google ngayon for free na walang usage limits. Okay? Think about what that means for companies already selling subscription for this category. Okay? A smaller company may spend years building the transcription engine, AI polishing layer, the mobile and desktop applications, the dictionary system, tapos yung subscription infrastructure pa nila, and then yung branding, and then yung marketing, and then yung customer base nila. Tapos biglang magda-drop yung isa sa mga tech giants ng ganito, 'di ba? That's not that does not mean Whisperflow and Glido will automatically disappear. No. They may still offer a better user experience, more mature desktop support, stronger integrations, better editing commands, team functionality, specialized workflows, customer support, or features that Eloquent does not provide. A paid product can still succeed against a free competitor if it produces significantly more value. Okay? But Google does not necessarily need to be better for every user. It only needs to become good enough for a large portion of the market. And when the alternative is free, ito yung problem, okay? When the alternative is free, private, offline, tapos backed by Google pa, good enough can create a serious competitive measure. This is what happens when a software business competes primarily through a feature. Okay. The first company creates something novel. People pay because the capability is difficult to access anywhere else. Then competitors enter the market. The underlying AI models become cheaper. Open source alternatives improve. Devices become powerful enough to run AI locally, and a larger portion eventually adds the same capability. Tapos yung feature nagiging commoditized na. Okay? Something that once justified a separate subscription becomes nagiging ano na siya, free application, or nagiging built-in na keyboard feature, or nagiging part na ng operating system. Okay? A feature inside ChatGPT, Gemini, or another platform, or an open source tool that people can run themselves. The smaller SaaS company must then lower its price, add more features, spend more money on marketing, serve more specialized niche, or develop a stronger reason for customers to stay. Diba? This is the vulnerability of generic AI wrappers. If the entire business is we placed a convenient interface around an AI capability, yung underlying AI provider or another large company can move directly into that category. Like for example, if Whisperflow doesn't have their own models, yung mga companies na may-ari ng model na ginagamit ng Whisperflow or Glido, pwede silang gumawa ng sarili nilang wrapper or ng sarili nilang SaaS. And then they can give away for free, or they can bundle it in the same subscription that people are already spending in. Okay, now this does not mean that SaaS is dead. Strong SaaS businesses can protect themselves through deep integrations, proprietary data, exceptional user experiences, or enterprise grade security. May mga collaboration features, may network effects, or historical customer data, or they have specialized industry knowledge and high switching cost. So, a mature platform that has become deeply embedded in a company's operations is not easily replaced by one free feature. For example, a business will not necessarily remove an entire CRM just because another platform releases a free contact management feature. Like for example, marami pa rin gumagamit ngayon ng Go High Level or Asana or ClickUp or whatever CRM or project management tool na ginagamit mo. And let's just say uh, Meta already has a CRM built in sa Meta business, but it's not that good. So people are still sticking to the usual CRM na ginagamit nila at yun na yung nakasanayan nila. So they may not pivot into another tool, but I'm talking about a featured AI SaaS tool. Okay? So may yung mga CRM kasi they contain years of customer information, may mga automation sila, may sales pipeline, team permission. So hindi sila basta-basta magpe-pivot when you create another SaaS tool na same. All right? Kasi a SaaS tool needs moat. Okay? The vulnerable businesses are those whose entire value depends on one generic AI function. Okay? If the feature is the whole business, one platform can one platform update can weaken the whole business model. Yun yung problem. This brings us to eto na yung sinasabi kong software in a service, SIAS. Software in a service is different from software as a service. Yung SaaS, the software itself is the product. Pero yung software in a service, software is embedded inside a professional service. So let's just say brand strategist ka. Tinutulungan mo yung business to clarify their positioning or mag-define ng messaging nila or mag-establish ng brand voice nila, mag-create ng brand consistency, and then let's just say consistent content strategy. Traditionally, you might give your client consultation calls, strategy documents, templates, a brand guide, recorded lessons, or a content plan. But after the engagement, the client still has to remember, kailangan niya pa rin maalala yung expertise na tinuturo mo or yung mga tinuturo mo, right? And kailangan niya rin correctly ma-apply lahat ng mga tinuro mo sa kanya. They may understand your strategy during the call, pero 2 weeks later, they may return to publishing random content that does not follow the strategy at all. Okay? So yung software in a service, you still provide the expert service. Okay? You still diagnose the business, you still make strategic decision, you still customize the plan, you provide feedback. Pero your service also includes proprietary software built around your methodology. Okay. The client opens the software and enters their business information. The software guides them through your positioning process. It helps them define their target audience. It stores their messaging pillars, generates content. Using your framework, it organizes their content calendar or whatever that is. But the main point here is you have a service and then you have a software that supports the service. And you let your client use that software na bundled in sa service mo. So they can execute your strategy consistently. You just have to let them understand that. Like for example, if you're an expert in neuromarketing, yung my studies on buyer psychology, you know how the brain works, yung primal brain, yung limbic, yung neocortex, you know what triggers people to buy. You can teach your clients exactly that. Puwede mo silang turuan ng neuro marketing, and then you can have your own software that will help them create the strategy based on that will help them create consistent brand content consistently, and then yung strategy na yon will be embedded in your software so that they can generate as much content scripts or whatever structured na scripts around buyer psychology and social media virality or whatever, right? So that is what software in a service means. So, for example, if you're a business consultant could include software that helps clients. For example, let's just say the software diagnoses operational problems, nagtatrack ng important KPIs, set weekly priorities, evaluate offers, and follow the consultant decision-making framework. Or a fitness coach could include software that helps clients. Marami na akong example na binigay. But that's the point here. Instead of creating a SaaS, create a software in a service framework. Revolve your business around that. Kasi yun yung mahirap i-replicate ng mga giant companies. Mahihirapan silang i-replicate yun kasi masyado ng niche yun. If yung content, if gagawa ka ng social media account, gusto mo mag-grow ng content na mabilis, you have to niche down, right? That's the same with business. You have to niche down as well. Okay? With your frameworks, with everything, you have to be a specialized, like what do you call that? You have to be a instead of a generalist, you have to be a specialist. That's what I'm talking about here. And then with your expertise, you just provide your clients or customers the software that they need to execute the same strategy that you teach them. Nagigets ba? Now, there's also another opportunity that works in opposite direction. If software in a service means placing software inside your service, you can also provide a service inside a software that already exists. So I call this service in a software. So SIAS pa rin siya, pero magkabaliktad. In this model, hindi ka magbi-build or hindi ka gagawa ng sarili mong platform. Instead, you become highly skilled at producing valuable outcomes inside an existing software. You can sell implementations, workflow design, customization, templates, trainings, optimizations, maintenance, or a complete done for you system built inside that platform. Um, like for example, a good example here is Magnific. Magnific is a new identity of the creative platform formerly known as FreePic. It provides AI tools for working with images, videos, audios, and other creative assets. Inside Magnific is a feature called Spaces. Okay, Spaces provide an infinite node-based canvas for creating connected creative workflows. Okay, a node is simply one step in a process. One node might contain the initial product image. Another node could generate a prompt. Another could generate image variation. Another could turn the selected image into a video. Another could generate a voiceover, etc. Okay? When those nodes are connected, they become a repeatable production workflow. Okay? So pwede kang mag-offer ng services na ganyan. Okay? So um shout out to Felix, J Felix. I think that's the name, but he teaches Magnific workflows. And I haven't had the privilege kasi marami pa akong kina-catch up dun sa community na ano, what they call it AI Pulse. Marami pa akong lessons dun, sunod ko lahat. And then hindi pa ako naka-caught up sa video na yon, which is talking about Magnific, but I want to learn it. So this model is not limited to Magnific. Pwede kang mag-go high level specialist. Marami ng gumagawa nito, N8N, Make, or you can be agentic workflow specialist. This will be another topic. My God, I want to talk about this. Gusto kong pag-usapan to yung agentic kasi right now, may nakakagawa na ng agentic workflows, right? But the problem is, kailangan naka-on yung PC nila para gumagana. For example, yung mga gumagamit ng OpenClaw, kailangan nilang hostinger, right? To keep OpenClaw running kahit naka-off yung PC nila. Now I think that's fine. That's okay. I mean, you have to really spend something in para maano mo to. You have to invest on something if you want to build something. But that is a topic for another video. Let's not get on to that. Um, but yeah, so ito lang yung point, okay? Instead of focusing on creating a SaaS sa panahon ngayon, wag na. If you're going to build a SaaS, it has to be very niched. Okay? So, kailangan siya maging niched enough so that yung mga malalaking companies, they won't even bat an eye for to creating this your type of SaaS, right? So, ito lang yung important warning. Your value is not dependent on knowing where the buttons are. Or interfaces change, feature change. AI makes basic workflows easier, and platforms eventually automate more of the setup. So your defensible expertise cannot simply be I know how to connect these nodes. It should be I understand how to build a create. Ito yung ano, yeah. So hindi it's not about I knowing how to connect the nodes sa mga service like for example if you are offering service in a software, it's not about knowing how to connect the nodes or how to connect each of these. It's about understanding the creativity behind it. Kaya, inside my course, initially, yung course ko na ano, it's all about creating software using AI. It's about agentic coding. Hindi ako nagbibigay ng prompt templates. Bakit? Because I want my students to understand to not only understand the prompt, but to understand why I created that prompt. To understand bakit yun yung prompt ko in the first place. Okay? So that's not the same thing. Button knowledge becomes obsolete. Okay? Outcome expertise remains useful. Okay? You have to understand why this is the prompt or why this is the button so you can have the certain outcome that you want, right? So understand the thing, understand the why in order to get the outcome. Okay? A person who understands the customer, the business objective, the creative strategy, the workflow, the quality standards, and the desired outcome can adapt even when the underlying software changes. So, ngayon, we have three different models. First, software as a service. You build the software, customers subscribe, but it has to be niched down or it has to be niched down and specializes on something that you are also you also specialized in. Second is software and a service. You sell an expert service. You include proprietary software that helps clients apply your methodology. So yung service mo, may kasama siyang software so that yung strategy mo madali lang i-implement ng kliyente. And then third is service in a software. You use a platform somebody else already created. Okay, na-build na nila. Yung workflow, yung system implementation, blah, blah, blah. And then you can study that platform, sell that service, become an expert. Okay, you provide an expert implementation inside the existing platform. The right model depends on where your strongest advantage is. Okay. Like for example, yun nga, yung Make, yung N8N, yung Magnific, right? So, do you have the resources and technical ability to own and operate the software? Do you have the proprietary methodology that can be converted into a client facing application? Or Do you have specialized expertise that allow you to produce valuable outcomes using a platform that already exists? Bottom line, you have to sell the outcome, okay? Not the feature. Kasi yung SaaS kasi, they sell the feature. Yung SaaS, they sell the feature. But in this case, you sell the outcome, right? When you sell the outcome, there's always a strategy behind it. So the lesson from here is Whisperflow, Lido, and hindi the lesson here is not never build a software. Hindi ibig sabihin hindi ka na magbi-build ng software. The lesson is be careful about building a business whose entire value depends on one generic AI feature. Okay? Because AI models improve, infrastructure becomes cheaper, open source tools become stronger, devices become more powerful, and giant technology, giant like tech companies, tech giants can release the same capability at a price smaller companies may not be able to compete with, including free. So instead of only asking, what AI tool can I build and charge people to access, I want you to ask, what part of my expertise can I encode into the software? What process do my clients repeatedly struggle to apply? Guys, ang daming gumagamit ng Chrome extension ko na Prompt Magnus, and Prompt Magnus is not even AI powered. It's just a prompt manager na may notes feature, may prompt chain na feature. So, chine-chain niya yung mga prompts. For example, if you press enter sa isang prompt chain, mag-e-enter yung prompt, magse-send yung prompt, magre-respond yung ChatGPT, tapos magse-send ng follow-up na prompt. As many follow-up prompts as you want. Actually, may limits din yun. I don't remember if I put a limit to the prompt chain feature, but may limit yung context window ng ChatGPT, so it doesn't even matter. So, yeah, the focus here is you have to think about what business outcome can I help clients achieve through this platform. Okay? Yung ano mo, yung SaaS, if SaaS says the software is the product and software and a service says my expertise is the service and my software helps clients apply it. Service in a software says the platform already exists, but clients pay me to build the right system inside it. Like for example, yung VAPI. If you want to build a inbound call AI agent and automated inbound um, call agent, edi mag-VAPI ka na lang. Don't build your own software. It's already there. You just have to be an expert on it. Okay, you can build software, you can embed software into your service, or you can package your expertise inside software that someone else already built. Okay, the technology will continue to change. The platform will continue to change. The tools will continue to change. But the ability to understand a problem, this is the mindset that I want you guys to put yourself into. Okay? Ito yung gusto kong ma-impart na mindset sa inyo. Be a problem solver. The ability to understand a problem, design a system, and reliably produce an outcome, you will continue to be valuable. That is the best skill you can have. Kailangan mo maging problem solver. You have to understand the best tools that you can use in order to solve a problem. You have to design a system or a workflow or whatever that is and produce a reliable outcome. So yeah, that's the mind shift of this entire video, and it's already a very long video, but yeah. I hope you guys learned something today, and I'll see you guys. Ariga, thanks gozaimasu for watching.